Okay, I'm creating this video to go over the scoring for the spirit and sportsmanship. And so I thought this would be an easier way to do this instead of having a meeting Saturday morning. Please make sure that you respond to my email to make sure that you have watched this video and I know that everything's okay and you're ready to go for Saturday. Just a reminder that the event for judging spirit and sportsmanship is going to be start at 8 a.m. Saturday, December 1st. Okay? And make sure that you go to the convention center. Okay? Okay? And the first thing I want you to do when you get to the convention center, 8 a.m. Saturday, December 1st, or perhaps a little earlier than that, make sure no later than 8 a.m., please, is to go to the north box office and there I would like you to get your clipboard and you can get a pen if you need to and get started, okay? And I'm going to send you in an email this score sheet, and I would like you to make copies of this score sheet for each school that you're going to be judging. You'll be judging probably 6 or 7 schools, okay? So please make 6 or 7 copies, maybe an extra copy or 2 if you need to accommodate the schools and write the school names on each one, okay? So what I'm going to do here is just briefly go through this and talk a little bit about this score sheet, okay? The first thing is, obviously, you're going to judge spirit and sportsmanship, and each one of them has different components to it, okay? First of all is spirit, and so you'll have 4 different categories that you have to judge within spirit, okay? You can kind of see there the 4 different categories within spirit. First, exhibit vigor and enthusiasm throughout the competition event. You judge that out of 20. This is pretty easy. You're going to see some groups going to have a whole lot of spirit, and you're going to give them close to 20. In fact, probably the best one's going to get a 20, okay? And some are going to get not very much at all, and so maybe 5 or 10. And the question always is, well, what if it's a small group, but they all try really hard? That's good, but that's still not going to get a 20, okay? The 20 is going to be just the absolute best, okay? And so a small group that's trying really hard, and they've only got 10 students, and they're really trying hard for their spirit, that might be 12 to 15 or something like that. We'll talk a little more about how to do this at the end. But definitely, you're going to see that very clearly. Some are going to really do a lot. Some aren't going to do as much. One thing to look for is if they're doing it throughout, meaning they're not just cheering for their team, but they're cheering in general. Okay, look for that as well. Use of signs, posters, props, costumes, T-shirts, things like that. That's an important one. You're going to see some schools really pull that out and do a lot of those different things. Look for multiple categories, not just T-shirts, because almost all of them have T-shirts, but look for costumes, props, posters, signs, lots of different things. And the groups that do lots of different things well are going to get close to 20. Some that do a little bit well, maybe a 15. Some that do not much, but a little bit of that, maybe a 10. Again, use your discretion. Cheerleaders, mascots, bands, organized noisemakers, okay? Again, you're looking for big, organized groups. Some of them are going to have it, some of them are not, okay? So if you don't see much to this, you can't give a whole lot of points here, okay? The only thing you could probably give is some kind of organized noise-making within a small group, and so they might get maybe 5, But you got to have a real group of bands, mascots, cheerleaders in order to get significant points here. And finally, number of supporters with the school other than the students. So you're looking for the parents, family, all that kind of stuff. You can kind of see some students, some groups, some schools have a lot of that, and some don't have much at all, okay? And so again, you're going to give 15 or 14 to those that are very obvious. Maybe a little bit, if it's a small school far away, you might give a few extra points to that. They brought us some parents and some others, so that was good. Maybe get a 10 to 12 or something like that. But again, some schools are just going to be able to do a little more on that range. Okay, the harder part to judge is sportsmanship, and you have three categories in this. And the way to judge sportsmanship is you have to be near the game. Okay, you can judge spirit far away. You can stand far away and look at spirit, and it's pretty obvious. But for sportsmanship, you have to stay close and stay close to the game. And you're really looking at three things here: outward display of sportsmanship. Now, what I'm looking at is I'm watching the game, and I'm really close to the game field. Um, I'm looking at and in the pits. I'm looking at, are they helping each other, and are they really working together, not just as a team, but helping others as well. Okay, that can be hard to see. So if you see something good, even if it's not your team, please try to communicate that to another judge who is who may be judging that team. Okay, so if you see good sportsmanship, maybe even write it down. If it's not something that's your team, you can communicate that to the judge of that team. So make sure that you look for all that. Conducting an attitude of considering befitting in participation in sports, grace in winning or losing. This is important to stay very close to the game. Watch the reactions of the players who are involved with the game. Make sure that they show that grace in winning or losing. Conduct themselves. Also make sure that you talk to the referees and the head ref to make sure that if they have any comments for you as far as who's doing good and not so good in this area. The referees will be able to tell you a lot there. And finally, evidence that students are the primary pit crew. This is probably the hardest thing of the whole thing to judge, because most likely you're just going to see students. But if you happen to notice teachers getting too close, parents, adults, whatever, getting too close as far as yelling and giving a lot of information to the pit crew folks, you can definitely make deductions, but this is a harder one to see. So if you don't see much and it looks like the students were working on it, you're probably going to give them the full points. Okay? And so the key thing here, though, okay, over all of this stuff, here's the key thing, okay? When you're done, and you all need to be done by 11 a.m., okay? Make sure you're all done by 11 a.m. And when you're done by 11 a.m., make sure you go back to Judges Room 4. Okay? Make sure you go back to Judges Room 4, because there's the key point there. You're all going to get back together in Judges Room 4 at 11 a.m., and then you're going to collaborate. Okay? You're going to talk. Okay? And that's so important that you talk, because you're not going to be the only judge for each team. Each team's going to have two judges, so there's going to be someone else out there judging that same team. Make sure that you collaborate with them as far as how they judged it. Okay? You don't all have to have the same scores, but if there is bias amongst one of you, it can really throw off the results. And so if someone is very biased as far as giving way too high or way too low of points, then it can really throw off the scores. So we want to make sure we avoid that bias by collaborating. So from 11 till 11:30 or 11:45, take at least a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, and collaborate. Talk amongst yourselves. Make sure that the numbers that you're doing and the observations that you're making are fairly consistent with one another, okay? And I think that hopefully you'll be able to do that, and I'll be around, of course, to help with this effort, and I'll be there. So remember, to recap, no later than 8 a.m., please, Saturday, December 1st, Convention Center. Go to the North Box office to pick up your clipboard, and you can begin right away, because you're going to bring your score sheets for the 6 or 7 teams that you're going to be assigned. How are you going to know what you're assigned? You're going to get it in an email, okay? So if you have any questions, please contact me. You can call me or of course, reply to the email that you've given. All right, thank you.